Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today? It's Tuesday, 1 year of doing the show together. This is our 1 year anniversary of this show.
I'm excited.
We Super Wildcard Weekend just ended. We had a lot of games, a lot of disappointing games. I'm gonna say actually.
My eyes are shaped like footballs now. Just so much football.
It was. Well, I just want to give a. We're gonna get into all the games, but I just want to know what your brief reaction to the games were. An overall thought, I would say. What would you give it?
I give it high ranks. I was 5-1.
Yeah, you were going the win-loss. We had the same. I went 4-2 on the win-loss. We didn't do too well on the point spread. We each went 2-4.
That's not my strength.
So you're beating me right now. But let's get into some of the games here because. Well, let's start with the earliest game. So the 4:30 p.m. game, which was the 49ers. Brock Purdy and the 49ers able to get the win against the Seattle Seahawks. It did not look so good in the first half. The Seahawks actually being up 17-16 at the half, but Brock Purdy and especially that 49ers defense coming away with some crucial turnovers caused by Geno Smith, an interception, a fumble. They were driving at that point, about the score. They were down 23-17 at that point. But Brock Purdy, 332 yards, 100. I will just point this out because I keep getting criticized by it. 187 of those yards were yards after catch, so above 50%. Actually, around 60% of his yards were yards after catch. Debo had like a 72-yard touchdown. So with what you saw on Saturday, do you think? Well, first of all, let's have two questions here. What's your reaction to the 49ers and their win against Seattle? And do you think the 49ers are the team to beat, or should they be the team to beat in the NFC?
I thought that the Seahawks would cover the point spread, and it looked like they were going to after the first half. They were actually ahead by 7, as you said, 17-16. But they fell apart in the middle of the third quarter and fourth quarter, and I think it was largely the overwhelming strength of the 49ers defense. It's just unbelievable. Their defense has got to be the best, I think. And championships are won with defense, as they say. I think the 49ers have a very good chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
Really? I mean, I'm going to have to agree with you. The 49ers defense was huge in this game, causing a lot of turnovers, a lot of crucially timed turnovers as well. Seahawks were driving. Geno Smith fumbles the ball. He throws an interception. So the 49ers look really good. Brock Purdy, very, very efficient in Kyle Shanahan's offense. He took a lot of deep shots in this game. He took a total of 10 deep shots in this game, 20-plus yard throws, completed on 4 of them, 40% complete, 110 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. So he was throwing the ball deep, and it started off early in the game. He was looking a little shaky there, didn't look too good. He completed, I think in total, he completed about 60% of his throws, so he didn't have a great completion percentage. 332 yards, 4 total touchdowns. He ran for a touchdown, threw 3.
I'd say he played pretty well.
Yeah, no, he
pretty damn good.
He didn't look that bad, but it also helps having Christian McCaffrey run the hell out of the ball like he has.
He's got a lot of good players around him, that's for sure.
Yeah. Since he got there, I have it here, not including last game because I didn't total this up, but since Brock Purdy became the starter, let's say with Jimmy G, the defense averaged 1.2 turnovers a game. 1.2. With Brock Purdy at the helm, the defense has had 2.6 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
So almost near tripling what the defensive efficiency and then the turnover rate since Brock Purdy got there. Since Brock Purdy became the starter, they've only had one game where they've had under 2 turnovers on defense.
Yeah.
So they've been taking the ball away.
They have a great defense.
They have a phenomenal defense. They are number one in the I don't know what you call it, where the ball is, where you start. I don't know what you call that.
Field position.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage. Your starting line of scrimmage. They are ranked number 1 in the league at that. They start ahead of everyone else.
That helps.
It helps a tremendous amount, and that's in large part due to turnovers. You get a turnover, you get brilliant field position usually.
Another reason I say I think the 49ers have a chance for the Super Bowl is the play of Brock Purdy. I mean, he was very cool.
Right.
He started out a little shaky there in the first of the game. It's his first playoff game.
Yep.
But he settled right down, and he played very well. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. He threw 3 touchdown passes, scored 1 himself. Yep. That's a damn good game, right?
Is.
Over 300 yards passing. So he seems to be the real deal. Now, it's going to get tougher as they go now. I mean, and the pressure's going to get much more.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he deals with that. But they have, who are they playing? They're playing the
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. I think they'll beat the Cowboys.
They're 4-point favorites right now against the Cowboys.
I think they'll beat the Cowboys.
I don't know if the Cowboys pass rush yesterday was insane. Brady, it seemed like he had no time to throw. If they keep that pass rush up, I think there could be some.
I'd say the 49ers have a much better offensive line than the.
I would agree with you.
They have Trent Williams on their offensive line. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
They have a very good offensive line. It's much better than the Bucs. So I think they'll be able to protect Brock Purdy better than the Bucs protected Brady.
Would you take? Well, here's the thing. Here's the second part of the question.
Plus the Cowboys knew that Brady was going to throw the ball on almost every play because there's no running game. He threw the ball 66 times. Yeah. All they had to do was it's a pass rush every time. They aren't going to run the ball.
Right.
So that was another factor. And the 49ers have a much better running game.
Yeah.
Right? They have McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be very tough for the Cowboys to beat the 49ers at 49ers, particularly with the team they have.
Yeah. You bring up the running game. There hasn't been a single game since Brock Purdy got in there where they've rushed less than 121 yards.
Yeah.
They've rushed 121 yards or more.
That sets up the play action really well.
It's phenomenal. And in this game, because I can bring it up here, they did play action almost as many. They had the same amount of they had the same amount of attempts play action and not. Play action, they had 2 more completions, a higher completion percentage when they did play action. So they were able to, Kyle Shanahan, his offense is tremendous. You put a quarterback in there that could just get the throws. Brandon Ayuk seemed like he was open all the time. No one was within 5 yards every time I saw him.
They have so many players on offense. They have Kittle.
Yeah. Kittle.
They have Samuels.
Yeah, Ayuk.
And McCaffrey. Yeah.
You can't forget about Elijah Mitchell. He scored in this game as well. Yeah. They're used to be running back 1 until McCaffrey got there. So they have a lot of talent on that team. And I guess, let's answer the second part of the question. Are they the team to beat? Not the Eagles are the number 1 seed, but are the 49ers the true best team in the NFC? Are they the team to beat?
In the NFC?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to see how the Eagles play against the Giants, right? Because they're probably the stiffest competition for the 49ers if they can get by the Giants. My only little bit of a hesitation is Brock Purdy because he's a rookie,
right?
And the pressure's going to get more, and the stakes are much higher, and the teams are going to be better that he has to play. So. Still got 2 games to go before he gets to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I think he can beat the Cowboys. If the Giants beat the Eagles, then I think the 49ers will get into the Super Bowl.
Oh, I would 100% agree with you. From the Seahawks perspective, I was impressed. I was very, very impressed in the first half.
Yeah.
And then they fell apart in the second half. Fell apart. So I don't know if Geno Smith's going to be there. He said he wanted to end his career as a Seahawk. Will Pete Carroll sign him to a long-term deal? Maybe. 3-year deal. Would he be the starter? Are they going to draft a quarterback?
I don't think he gets more than a 3-year deal.
Maybe. It's just a question of, he played really well this year. 70% completion percentage.
That fumble he had in the third quarter was a killer.
Yeah. They were driving right down. They were going to go
right
up,
down there.
Potentially go up by 1 point again because it was 23-17 at that point.
The end right there. When that happened after that, it was all downhill. Big time.
And
real fast.
The defense fell apart after that as well. Couldn't stop them from scoring, really. And 49ers took over the game, able to get the win against the Seahawks. All right, let's get into the next one, because this game was, what a game. The prince that was promised, Trevor Lawrence. That first half down, was it 27-7, I think, in the first half, 27-0. 4 interceptions, 3 by Asante Samuel Jr., and, it came back in the second half, and it's like night and day difference. Came back, beat the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, beat up on themselves, but
They beat themselves.
I want to know what your reaction to this amazing turnaround by the Jaguars was to be able to come back from this deficit and beat the Chargers.
Well, I'd say that can't happen again for Trevor Lawrence. He can't expect to throw 4 interceptions in a game and expect to win.
Especially against the Chiefs this week.
It's against the Chiefs. Be a much, much different situation, that's for sure. And I'd say the Chargers beat themselves, right? They had Kyle Van Noy flub the interception.
That was on the game-winning drive right
there. Right to him. He had it right in his hands. He threw it right to him, and he dropped that. And then Joey Bosa threw his helmet, right? Led to the penalty, so they went for 2 and got that. And they would have lost by they probably would have lost the game if that hadn't happened, because the field goal, which just barely made it inside the pole there, was a 1-point victory. So without that 2-point conversion play, they wouldn't have won the game. They would have lost it.
Right.
So, or they would have had to try to get a touchdown with very little. No, there's no time left.
Right.
So, I had the Chargers beat themselves, and I think the coaching. I understand there's going to be some changes on that coaching staff.
They fired Joe Lombardi as well as their QB coach as well. So 2 people on the offensive side are already gone. They're probably going to keep Brandon Staley.
I'm not sure why they fired Joe Lombardi. I mean, they did put up 30 points. I'd say they do something on the defensive side, right?
The offense couldn't get anything
they
going.
gave up all those points in the second half.
The offense couldn't get going, though. That's the thing. The offense couldn't do nothing.
In the second half.
In the second half, yeah. So here's the thing. I don't have the
30 points is generally a pretty good game. For
absolutely.
Most teams.
The graphic here, Herbert. This is Joe Herbert. Late in the game, right?
Justin Herbert.
Sorry. At one point, Justin Herbert was 14-20 completion to attempts, 6.5 yards per pass, 1 touchdown, no pick, 104 passer rating. That was his first 6 drives. His last 7 drives, 11 of 23, that's under 50%, 6.2 yards per pass, no touchdowns, no interceptions, a passer rating of 67.8. So he just couldn't get anything going. And I said even before this game, when we were talking about it, they have the 30th ranked rushing game in the league. Now, Austin Eckler is a phenomenal fantasy running back because he catches, and that's a 0.5 point per reception right there. If he has, 5 receptions, that's 2.5 points just on catches, not even adding the receiving yards to it. So Austin Eckler can't run the football. He's not good at running the football. That's why they have the 30th ranked rushing attack in the league. So this was bad. The offense couldn't get going, and then this is a sign of what good to great players do. And I think Trevor Lawrence right now is a star in the league. This good players to great players can take adversity and take the time they have and make it work. Flip it on its head.
Well, able to forget about their mistakes.
As a quarterback, you need to have a short-term
memory. Pretty hard
memory.
to forget about 4 interceptions.
Doug Peterson.
In 1/2.
Doug Peterson, he's doing it again. I've been saying this since like week 4.
He's a good coach.
I saw when Trevor Lawrence looked phenomenal compared to what he looked like with Urban Meyer. I said, oh my God, it's Doug Peterson. He did it with Nick Foles. Is he going to do it again? And then they went on a little bit of a losing streak, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not buying into them anymore. And then I sold my stock too early. They came back. They're in the playoffs. They beat Justin Herbert. I mean, I thought there was a reason why I put Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert, and it's for this reason.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs.
It's going to be very, very difficult for them to go play the Chiefs and beat them.
In the Chiefs Stadium.
Yeah, in the Chiefs Stadium. That's.
I bet it will be very cold there.
The last time they did play, though, it wasn't as big as a blowout as you may think. And this was on their losing streak. It was the tail end of their losing streak. They lost to the Chiefs 27-17.
Yeah.
So it was close. They were able to get 315 yards of offense, but they gave up 486. Was
that at the Jaguar Stadium?
That was at Chiefs.
At Chiefs.
So they played at Arrowhead already. Yeah. They gave up almost 500 yards of offense, so that's the big problem there.
Well, I wonder what the weather's going to be like.
They forced 3 turnovers in that game as well and didn't give up one.
I bet if it's going to be cold out there. It's going to be cold at that game.
You think that's going to be a big
factor
difference?
For a Florida team, for sure. Yeah, I
mean,
think could be a factor. I mean,
we saw Miami go into Buffalo and in freezing cold weather and outplay them for 3.5 quarters. It only got bad when it started snowing. So
I don't know. We'll see.
So
I think the weather could be a little bit of a factor if it's cold.
I'm nervous for Justin Herbert's future. I mean, he just can't for some reason. I don't know what it is. I've been a fan of Justin Herbert since before he got drafted. I said he should have been picked over Tua, and I still believe that. The question is though, can he get it done? And I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's just the way Justin Herbert in the second half falls apart. He just for some reason can't close out a game, and it was honestly up to him in some of these games for him to go and form a game-winning drive to win the game.
He's still a young quarterback.
But compared to his draft class and the players he's compared to, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, he's not up to that level yet. And I think if
I don't know, at his stats, like record-breaking in his first couple of years.
In his first couple years. He's not touching Mahomes, but I'm saying he can't get over that hump. Josh Allen has gotten over that hump of beating Mahomes.
I think
Joe Burrow beat him 3 consecutive times and won the championship game.
Would have been nice to have Mike Williams in that game, right? They played him when he was still recovering from an injury. It looked like they didn't even need him. It started to look like they didn't even need him. Yeah, well, they could have used him in the second half, I guess. Yeah.
But that like how do you go from being up 27 to then losing 31-30? That isn't just, we didn't have Mike Williams. That's the offense couldn't get going.
They beat themselves, I think.
The defense looked exhausted in the fourth quarter because it would be like a 3-and-out for the Chargers, 3-and-out, 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 and then the defense would be back on the field in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was just very, very strange to see just the ultimate collapse of the Chargers, and I picked them to win this game and barely cover, and I was feeling great about myself in that first half. Up, 27-0 at one point. I'm like,
I was feeling pretty bad.
This is gonna be amazing. And then
I picked them. I picked the Jaguars.
You did 27-7 going into the half, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be easy. Although I'm not gonna say this like the LeBron meme out there, but when it was 27-7. And if we start off the second half and the Chargers couldn't keep up that tempo, I'm like, oh no, I do not feel good about this anymore. And then, but I thought, the Chargers, they might get another touchdown to keep it just out of reach.
Yeah,
they never got that. They never got that. So I was very, very disappointed in the Chargers. Next year, it's going to be interesting. New offensive coordinator, new QB coach, same head coach. And what's weird about what the Chargers did? Brandon Staley, the analytical guy. I don't even think he went for it on fourth down. He went. He didn't go for it on fourth down. I'm shocked because that was Brandon Staley's thing. Brandon Staley got criticized for going for it on fourth down in their own 30-yard line. And now when you're in the red zone and you kick field goals and that touchdown,
that actually kind of cost them that game last year. They lost by 3 points. And
I just thought that now. Brandon Staley, the guy who always goes for it on fourth down, did what he never does. And that's play conservatively. So it's weird. I think Brandon Staley should be gone. And I tweeted that. Sean Payton's out there. You got to go get Sean Payton if he's available. And the Chargers just,
he'd probably be happy to go to the Chargers, too. They have a lot of talent.
They have a tremendous amount of talent. So
you
now
could probably get a lot more out of Justin Herbert than Staley's gotten, too.
Probably. So my guess is next year, Chargers 10-7 this year. With Brandon Staley last year, they went 9-8. My guess is they do somewhat of the same, 9-8, 10-7 next year. I don't care because Brandon Staley, I think, has a ceiling. He's hit the ceiling. The defense, he's a defensive coach. They have the 20th total ranked defense. I don't know what to do there. And what's funny about this that the remaining coaches, only one of them is a defensive coach. The rest are offense. And that's why I think, and I've been saying this, you just blowing it by me because of tradition here. Defensive coaches are not the norm anymore. They're falling out. They're not as successful. Sean McDermott is the only defensive head coach that's left in here, and he almost lost to Skylar Thompson. The offensive line is a mess. They don't have a sustainable running game.
Well, some of those offensive coaches have great defenses, interestingly enough, right? The San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Right?
But look at
Kyle Shanahan's an offensive coach,
right?
But he happens to have a great defense.
Right.
Yeah. So
But the key part about that is efficient offense. Look at maybe the 49ers are just the complete package of a team. Maybe they're just the complete package.
They look it.
Yeah. But you have the Eagles. The Eagles have looked horrible recently. Their defense giving up a tremendous amount of points. And then their offense has been pretty much great all year. Recently it's been down a little bit. But you have Josh Allen, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Joe Burrow, all these top tier guys. Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars defense is not great. Not great at all. So, I don't know. It's just an interesting little factoid there that was seven teams left in the playoffs, 6 teams. I don't know however many. I think there's 6. Is there 7? I'm not sure. I think it's Oh,
no, aren't there eight?
Eight.
There's eight teams left.
8, 7,
Right?
7 are offensive, 1's defensive. So it's just a little interesting fact there. All right, let's get into our next one. We're on to the next game already. We're blowing by this Bills and the Dolphins game. Whew. What an embarrassing game for Mike McDaniel late in the game.
Come on. I feel so sorry for Skylar Thompson. I mean, is he a rookie?
Yeah.
He's a rookie.
I believe
right?
so, yeah.
He's out there waiting for the play to come in. On many, many occasions, the clock runs right down before he knows what he's doing. And that puts way too much pressure on him. I think that McDaniel, he's the reason I think they could have won that game. And I put it on him that they lost. I really do. I'm shocked that the Dolphins were that close at the end, right? They're only down 3 points.
Right.
And they wound up losing it by 3 points. And, they went to that fourth down play. He didn't know what the play was going to be for so long. And they ran out of timeouts. They're just totally mismanaged by the coach.
Well,
really
it's not that he didn't know which play to call. It's that he didn't know it was 4th and 1. That's the thing. He was told it's first down when it really was 4th and 1.
He didn't know it was 4th down?
He didn't know it was 4th and 1. Well, that's what I'm saying. You didn't know that. So it's not that he didn't know the play. It's that he didn't know what the down was. And so he was calling.
That's unacceptable.
He was a lot of. I mean, we saw Brady 2 years ago.
He burned up all his timeouts way too soon. He should have had a timeout.
That's because he was going to get a delay of game anyway.
Yeah, but it's mismanagement by the coach.
It is. It took him 65 seconds to call that 4th and 1 play. And once again, it's not because he didn't know what play was. He was calling a first down play when it was 4th down. So it was just he didn't know what down it was. And we've seen that before. I mean, Brady 2 years ago against the Bears. He thought it was 3rd down and it was really 4th down. He has that little blunder. The camera's pointing and he's holding up 4 fingers like, oh, is it a 4th down? So I mean, it was just bad coaching. But the Bills, I'm shocked by it. They were great, really, at points in this game, but not over the course of time. And then Josh Allen hit, I believe it was Gabe Davis for that beautiful go-ahead touchdown pass. It was absolutely beautiful throw. So I'm nervous
Josh
about the Bills.
Allen has done well on the long passes.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a cannon of an arm. I put his arm slightly above Patrick Mahomes.
He's quite accurate too on the long pass.
Yeah, no, he has a tremendous deep ball, and he was getting pressured in one of them, and it was to Stephon Diggs. He on his back foot just hurls it up there, looked like an Aaron Rodgers deep throw. Back foot throws it up to Stephon Diggs right in the breadbasket. It's a beautiful throw. Josh Allen on deep passes went 5 of 13, 160 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
Yeah.
So 38.5% completion percentage, not great, but he took the same amount of deep shots as he did short passes. So he likes to throw the deep ball.
Yeah.
He likes to throw.
Well, they got the guys that can catch it too.
Yeah, he was graded 94.8 on his deep ball. Yeah. Which is very, very, very good. But I'm a little bit nervous about the Bills going forward here. They play the Bengals next week. Another team I'm worried about. The Dolphins had a chance to win that, though. Skylar Thompson, I mean, in reality...
Give him a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit.
Skylar Thompson threw 40% and almost beat the Bills.
Yeah.
And also, the turnovers. Josh Allen fumbled it 3 times and lost it once. The Bills offensive line... gave up 7 sacks. They had 3 turnovers. I mean, this game was just it was weird. It was weird. You take a look at the
Dolphins could have won that game.
The comparison here, and it's like, how is this game even this close? But it was. The Buffalo Bills had 3 turnovers. Like I said, 7 sacks. Yeah, like the Miami Dolphins had 231 total yards. The Bills essentially doubled them. Like that's and you only lost by 3 points. You had 9 less first downs. 9 less.
Yeah.
This was bad. You went 4 of 16 on third down.
The Bills' issue is they turn the ball over some.
Yeah. Josh Allen has the most turnovers.
I would say they've got a tougher game, much tougher game against the Bengals than they had against.
Although the Bengals didn't look that good against the Ravens. The Bengals didn't look that good against the Ravens.
No, but I think that they'll have a tough time against the Bengals.
I don't know. This has just been a weird postseason thus far. I mean,
I really don't know who I'm going to pick in that game. I'm still thinking about it.
I'm lost. Last season, I thought it was obvious who was going to win each game. I mean, minus the although I felt confident Jimmy G and the 49ers team could beat the Packers. I mean, the rest of the games I felt confident in. This year, I got no idea. I thought the Chargers were okay pick, not great. The Cowboys, I was very confident in. The 49ers, I was very confident. The Vikings pick, I had no idea. The Chargers pick, I had no idea. So it's, I don't know, I guess it's just one of those things that, this offseason's weird. Teams are coming in, they play great one week, and then you pick them, and then they play horrible. You have the Chargers going up 27-7 into the half, and you lose 31-30. It's a weird thing. You have the Giants, and Daniel Jones looked phenomenal in that game. We'll talk about that.
It's amazing.
Coming up next, but I don't know. This is a weird postseason thus far, and I guarantee
It's exciting. I think the games have been good.
by the end of it, I guarantee you, we will not have great. You might have a great win-loss record. I'm 4-2.
I don't know.
This
We'll
week.
see what happens this coming week. It's going to be harder to pick.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. But still to come, we react to the Giants' upset over the Vikings, the Ravens' blunder on the goal line, and Brady's collapse at home, along with we celebrate our 1-year anniversary of doing the Harvey Hour right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary on YouTube, doing this show together.
Hey.
But let's get into our next topic. We're still talking about football here. We're going to delay the celebration for a little bit. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Danny Dink and Dunk, as I'm going to call him, or as I've been calling him. He was able to actually beat the Vikings pretty convincingly. It got a little bit nerve-wracking, though. A late drop by Darius Slayton, and then a roughing the passer by Dexter Lawrence set up the Vikings in position to maybe push it down the field. And then on a 4th and 8, Kirk Cousins throws a 3-yard out route. And the end of the game, Daniel Jones wins by 7 to move on. He wins his first ever career playoff game in his first career playoff opening and playoff start. So I want to know, what's your reaction to this upset by Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants?
I picked the Giants to win.
Fair.
Yeah. So I was pleased that I got it right, and I was happy for the Giants, particularly for Brian Daboll. I think he... he's done a great job coaching this year. He really had those guys ready to play. The defensive coordinator is really good too, Wink Martindale. And Daniel Jones, he played mistake-free football. He was really on. And I don't think I've ever seen him play as well as that. I do think, though, going forward, maybe not this year, but in the years going forward, and I'm sure they're going to make him a deal that he can't refuse to stay with them, and he's got the leverage now the way he played in that game. He ran the ball 17 times, and he got almost 80 yards, and he's taken some big hits this year when he's been running the ball, and I don't think that's something that can continue if he wants to stay upright and be a long-term quarterback. He's going to have to adjust that a little bit. He can't run so many times, but it worked in this game. I mean, that was definitely their strategy when he went back there and he didn't see anybody open. If he had a lane, run it. He had permission from the coaches to do that. And Barkley had a good game too, running the ball. So their running game was they trounced the Vikings in the running statistics, right?
Yeah,
I don't think the Vikings, would they have 60 yards rushing, something like that? They didn't have very much. The Giants were, almost 200 yards rushing. That was a big difference in the game. It helped to run the clock down, and they moved
Vikings,
the ball that
16 rushes, 61 yards, 1 touchdown. The Giants, 30 rushes, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns.
142 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Daniel Jones made NFL history. He's the first quarterback with 300 plus passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 70 plus rushing yards. So not only was it his first playoff game and his first playoff win, he also made history in it.
Yeah.
So it was incredible to watch. But however, I don't know if I have the graphic up here. I hope I have the graphic set up properly. Let's see. This was his passing depth chart, as we should say. His passing depth. As we see here, I call him Danny Dink and Dunk, because kind of what he does. But I'm going to give him somewhat the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't have great receivers. He has probably, at most, the wide receiver 2.
I'd say that Hodgins, or whatever his name is very good.
Hodges.
He was quite good.
He took one deep shot that was incomplete. But as we see here, there's a lot of stuff within 10 yards. But you know what? He made it work. And that's what Daniel Jones. This is the great thing about Brian Daboll. He makes Danny Dink and Dunk, or Danny Dimes, work. Because that's how good Brian Daboll is. Daniel Jones went from getting bashed all the time to saying, oh, snap, wait, he's a top 10 quarterback this year. Oh, snap, he's a really good quarterback. The Giants did not sign him to his 5th-year option. Instead, he may have just played himself into a 5-6-year deal, potentially. My guess is Daniel Jones is going to go out here, sign a 4-5-year deal, make about $42 million a year. Is he worth that money? If Brian Daboll ever gets out of there, hell no, he's not worth $42 million a year. He's probably worth 25 as a backup at most. And backup quarterbacks don't even make $25 million.
No.
But Daniel Jones, I'm gonna stop ripping on him for the time being, because I may actually end up picking Daniel Jones against the Vikings. But this is Daniel Jones's passing depth chart. This is what it is.
I mean, against the Eagles.
This was not against the. What did I say?
You say you pick him against the Vikings.
Oh, sorry, I'm against the Eagles. Yeah. So I'm gonna take. I may pick him. They're 7.5 point underdogs. But hey, Brian Daboll's doing a phenomenal job. I said back in week 1, after they beat the Titans, when they came back and beat the Titans, I said Brian Daboll Coach of the Year. And partially it was a joke. I'm not going to say that I foresee
having the guts to do the 2-point play there at the end and winning and getting it. That set a tone for them, I think. I think that was an important part of their season.
Yeah,
winning that game like that. But
I'm going to give it to Daniel Jones. He was very, very impressive. He made it work. The offense was great. He threw for over 300 yards. And I think it's a large credit due to how well he's been coached. There's nothing wrong with saying that Brian Daboll's the main reason for this success.
No, I think he held Daniel Jones accountable.
Right.
When he made mistakes, he told him, that was not the right thing to do. And I think that had an effect on him. And I think that I agree with you. I think Brian Daboll did a fantastic job coaching that team this year.
Yeah. So
he had some help, though. I think Martindale did a great job on defense. He doesn't have that many players on defense, I don't think. I mean, Thibodeau was great, right? But who do they got in the back in the secondary? I mean, Landon Collins, he's back.
Yep.
He's a veteran, but the other guys, I don't know who those guys are.
Xavier
and their
McKinney's out
linebackers.
there.
So who do they have in there?
Anthony
Who are their linebacker? Who's their great linebacker? Do they have a really great linebacker?
They have Jalen Smith, I believe.
Yeah.
He is.
Do they have anybody that made the Pro Bowl on defense? I mean, Dexter Lawrence is a good lineman.
Dexter Lawrence almost made all pro.
Yeah.
So he's very, very good. You had Leonard Williams on the defensive line.
Yeah,
You had
Leonard Williams.
Kayvon Thibodeau, he's on the defensive line as well.
I think Thibodeau was the best defensive player, though.
It's definitely up for debate, but yeah, I think he's definitely in the conversation. I'd say he's at least top 3. Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence will be in that conversation. But the Vikings were kind of what we thought they were.
You know, the other thing that the Giants did, they took away the run game pretty much. It's only 60 yards, and they took away Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
he didn't have much of a game.
Yeah, he was
right?
pretty.
He only caught
what,
four balls for 50 yards or something. He didn't have much of a game.
Right.
So that's pretty good. Most teams haven't been able to do that.
Correct.
Take him away.
7 catches, 47 yards.
Oh.
So actually worse than what you said.
Yeah.
More catches, less yards. So the Giants defense was really, really good in this game. And also the offense played very, very efficiently. 24 35, 301, 2 touchdowns. You rushed 17 times. That's a lot. That's a lot for Daniel Jones, for a quarterback. Yeah. 78 yards. Saquon Barkley, 9 rushes, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. It seems like Brian Daboll has found what makes this offense work. Daniel Jones being sort of that mobile quarterback.
Tough for him next week. The Eagles will be looking for Daniel Jones to run the ball. He won't have as much success running it this time, I don't think.
I think we should also put context here, because while I'm praising Daniel Jones here, we do have to add a little bit of context. This was against the 31st ranked total defense.
Yeah.
And one that's ranked 20th in rushing, 31st in passing. So we have to put a little bit of context here, but still, Daniel Jones did what I thought since he came into the league he couldn't do, and that's be efficient and play very well in this game.
Not turn the ball over.
He played very well.
Didn't turn it all over at all.
He wasn't that huge he wasn't big on the interception throwing. He was big on the fumble. He took away his main source of playing badly and losing his team games.
I think they have a better offensive line this year than they've had in the past.
In the past, yeah, but that's not saying much because their offensive line has been horrible the past 3-4 years.
So a lot of those fumbles happened when he was getting sacked.
Right. So I mean, what Daniel Jones has done is very, very impressive, and that's a huge credit to the way Brian Daboll looks. I mean, look at Josh Allen now. Josh Allen was very, very refined. Brian Daboll refined Josh Allen's game in the red zone, not throwing as many interceptions, pocket awareness, holding on to the football. Brian Daboll gets out of there. Josh Allen now leads the league in total turnovers. He's like 32 this year, which is absurd. It's absurd. And now look at Daniel Jones. Past 3-4 years, he's looked horrible against, a bunch of offensive coordinators and a few head coaches. Brian Daboll comes in, refines his game.
Yeah.
So I've been very, very impressed. I've been very, very impressed. But on the Vikings side of this, the Vikings were exactly what people said they were. Kirk Cousins outside of 1 p.m. has been okay at best. Not great. Bad, maybe even. He didn't play that badly. He just didn't play great.
The defense let him down.
You think it's the defense?
Yeah, I think the defense let them down. I mean, their offense they scored 24 points, but they couldn't get the ball to Jefferson. That was a big problem for them, and they couldn't get the running game. Really didn't get going with Cook, who was a very good running back.
They went 4 of 10 on third downs, 40%. Yeah. It's not great compared to when the Giants have over 50% on.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins throwing on that 4th down play, he saw the defensive guy was right there. Hawkinson was not going to get the first down.
My question is, though, why even call a play with a drag route or an out route?
They should have had all the receivers beyond the first down marker.
4th and 8, and you throw a 3-yard route. That's just not smart. That's just not smart. So Kirk Cousins, he was on a 1-year deal, fully guaranteed. I mean, is he one of 32 best quarterbacks in the nation? Yeah, he is. Is he average to below average? Yeah, he is. Would I take Jimmy G over Kirk Cousins? Probably, honestly, because he can get it to Justin Jefferson.
I'd say they'll probably re-up him.
The re-sign him?
Yeah, he had a decent season.
Yeah, he didn't have a bad season at all.
Oh, yeah.
He had a pretty good season. It's just that he can't take the Vikings.
Had how many yards receiving?
He was near the record.
1,800 yards.
He was near the record. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how many yards did Kirk Cousins have passing?
He had over 4,000.
Yeah.
Over 4,000. The specific number is 4,500.
Too. 4,500.
Not that many. 29 touchdowns.
And how many interceptions?
14.
Yeah.
He turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah. Well, he's a very serviceable quarterback. I mean,
but he's not going to take the Vikings to the next level. There's a reason
I don't know.
Stephon Diggs got the hell out of there. He said, get me a real quarterback. He went over to Josh Allen. When's Justin Jefferson going to say, hey, I want to win. I don't want to sit here.
Kirk Cousins ranked ahead or behind Josh Allen this year?
Please tell me you're joking. You think Kirk Cousins would be ranked higher than Josh Allen?
I don't know. What is the ranking? The quarterback
Off
ranking?
the top of your head, you're saying in your mind.
No,
you're
I'm
saying
just curious. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen's ahead of him, but by
pretty
how much?
sure-
He turned the ball over. Look how many times Josh Allen turned the ball over.
Yeah, but look at how Josh Allen performed though.
Well, what was his stats?
I'll look that up for you. But I can't believe you think there's a world of possibility. He's the number one ranked quarterback on Pro Football Focus. Number one.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, and where is Cousins?
Number 9.
Number 9. Well,
Number
he's in
9.
the top 10.
Tied for 9th.
He's in the top 10. 32 teams.
Right, and I said that though. Kirk Cousins is one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the entire nation. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is not an NFL quarterback here, but I just that's a bad.
You wouldn't
take.
rank him in your top 10
Bad
though, would
take.
you?
Kirk Cousins, no. I don't think was he? No, he wasn't in my top 10. Because he's not a top 10 quarterback. He plays bad outside of 1 p.m. He's been horrible in prime time. When the lights are the brightest, he's the darkest. So I mean, it's.
We'll see. I bet the
Josh
Vikings.
Allen.
I bet the Vikings re-up him.
Because who else would they have?
They could get Jimmy G, right? They could have Derek Carr, right?
I would probably take Derek Carr over Kirk Cousins. Probably.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He's a free agent, Cousins. I bet they'll be interested in him.
I don't know. Kirk, that blows me. Kirk Cousins. I'm moving on to the next topic.
I think he had a decent year. He had a pretty good year. 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns.
You were questioning if Kirk Cousins is higher than Josh Allen.
His receiver set an NFL record.
No, he
Justin Jefferson
for what?
for yards.
No, he didn't.
I thought he did 1,800 yards, right?
Calvin Johnson has over 1,900.
Okay, well, he came very close. 1,800 yards is a pretty damn good season for a receiver.
It is.
Yeah, and it was Cousins throwing him the ball.
It was, but
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is also reason why they lost a number of these games. It was the second week of the year against the Eagles. He threw like 3 interceptions.
Now, they had a pretty good record for the year, Nate. Right? They only lost what?
They are
3 or 4 games.
In point differential, they were a negative. They're the only team in NFL history to have a negative point differential at 13-4, or have a tremendous winning record and have a negative point differential. I think the only playoff teams that had a worse differential were the Buccaneers. I think that's the only other team. Maybe the Giants. Probably the Giants. Giants and Bucs were the only 2 worst teams. Let's move on to this next topic. The Bengals. We had defensive end Sam Hubbard taking it 98 yards on a fumble recovery touchdown because Tyler Huntley tried jumping over the line like Trevor Lawrence did in his game against the Chargers. It was a sight
That's a
to see.
risky play when you do that.
It was a sight to
when
see.
you put the ball up there for someone to knock it out.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, Burrow, 209 passing yards, didn't have a great game. He had an okay game, 1 touchdown, but the Ravens, that's the big story here. You had J.K. Dobbins coming out criticizing criticizing Tyler Huntley, saying, he shouldn't be in that position. It should be me taking the handoff. And they probably would have won with Lamar Jackson. That's what he said. He said we probably would have won with Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to ask you, are you surprised by the performances by either team or both teams, the Bengals and the Ravens?
Yeah, I thought the Bengals would beat them easily. And it was a very close game.
Right.
I mean, it went right down to the end there. That Hail Mary that Huntley threw, the guy should have caught it. I mean, when it tipped off, he went right through his hands. He could have caught it. I just think he was very surprised that the ball showed up there when he was kind of going across the ground there. The ball went right to him, and he missed it. So they could have tied the game with that.
Right.
And the way there was a tie game when the fumble happened and the lineman took it all the way the other way. I mean, that you don't expect a play like that to happen.
It was a 14-point swing.
Yeah, 14-point swing, and they were right down. What down was it when he tried to jump over?
Oh, top of it, I'm not too sure. It's probably third down, third or fourth down.
So they could have kicked the field goal and had the lead if he didn't get in there.
Maybe.
So I don't think it was the right play. They shouldn't have tried that play.
Well,
I kind of agree with the running back. He should have got the handoff and tried to get it in that way.
Well, John Harbaugh said the play call was not
jumping
to go
over the top. It was not right on the goal line.
No, it was like 1.5 yards.
1.5 yards. So it's a long jump.
Very, very far.
That's a long jump. I think that was the wrong thing to do.
Well, John Harbaugh said that the play call was actually for him to tuck it and QB sneak it, not jump over the top. And I don't know how you get from tuck it and sneak it to let me go Air Jordan and jump over the entire D-line and O-line.
Yeah, I think Huntley overall, though, had a pretty good game.
Huntley did not have a bad game at all. It was just shadowed by a horrible play at the very... It cost him the game, 14-point swing there. But Tyler Huntley, in the playoffs, has been better than Lamar Jackson. He has a higher completion percentage. He's done, I think, he had more yards than Lamar Jackson's ever had, along with 2 touchdowns. So we're talking about this here. Is Lamar Jackson the better quarterback? Yeah. In the playoffs, Tyler Huntley's been a little bit better on average. I'm sorry to say that. But do I think that Tyler Huntley's an overall better quarterback? Of course not. Of course not. Healthy Lamar Jackson, the top 4, top 5 quarterback in the league. Maybe even top 3. Although it'd be hard to argue Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. You could argue that all day, all night. But it's a 14-point swing on that last play. 98 yards.
Tough.
And what's funny about that is...
Tough. I feel bad for the Ravens.
Next Gen Stats reported that Mark Andrews hit his top speed all season on the chase down to try to tackle Sam Hubbard.
He didn't come that close to getting him.
It was like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, he had a long way to catch up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm a little bit nervous about the Bengals here. Going up against the Bills next week, both teams look very, very shaky. But here's the big thing. The Bengals were able to score. The Bills were able to score. The Bengals, not so much. So that's where I'm a little bit nervous here.
Plus the Bills will be at home.
Right, the Bills will be at home. But going in that Monday night game, Bills-Bengals, the Bengals were able to score basically immediately, and then only allowed the Bills on like the next time they draft. I don't know if they kicked a punt. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But they only allowed 3 points, and then DeMar Hamlin went to cardiac arrest at the end of it. They needed to cancel the game.
I also think the Bills, they're playing at home. That's good. The fans will be there for them. They're playing for DeMar.
Right.
I think they still have that motivation. And DeMar was at the game, at this last game, and so I think those two things are positives for them. And I do think the Bengals, it didn't look like I was surprised that they didn't beat the Ravens more soundly.
What's very interesting about this, because people were speculating why Lamar wasn't playing. Is he holding out because he wants the contract? Is he really hurt? He came on social media telling people he has a grade 2, upwards of a grade 3 sprain on his, I believe it's a PCL. He did not he went to the Week 18 game against the Bengals. He did not travel with the team on this wild card game. I don't know how far you want to go into that. You know, the lack of support for his team. But you know what? I don't necessarily disagree with what he did, because he gave up on the team, but the team gave up on him first by not offering him a contract. And, you know, the Ravens have the option of doing a franchise tag. You can franchise tag him. I don't think Lamar will be very happy with that, because he's now playing on a 1-year fully guaranteed deal, but there's no security. There's no long-term security.
I think it's the wrong thing for him not to go to the game, the wild card game.
Why?
Because he's a member of the team.
The team gave up on him, though.
Well, I don't think they really gave up on him.
Why?
He did play. He was the starting quarterback. They wanted him to be the starting quarterback. It's not like he didn't get paid anything to play.
Right.
I mean, that was his contract, right?
True.
He wanted a extension and a new contract, and the Ravens weren't obligated to do that. He can play out his contract.
He didn't. Right. He wanted the long-term security because he already got hurt. He got hurt last year after playing 12 games.
Well,
and this year, after 12 games, he gets hurt.
I still think he should have gone to the game.
But what would that have done, though? What would that have done?
Support for the team, you know? I mean, those guys got to have a lot of friends on the team, I would think, right?
Yeah, you would think, yeah.
Yeah, so be there to support them.
Do you think Lamar will get paid in the offseason?
I think they'll make him a very, very good offer. I do. I think they will make him a very good offer.
What do you think that offer will look like? They reportedly offered him $133 million.
I think it will be in the what's his name?
Deshaun Watson?
No, the
Russell Wilson?
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
So 160 million guaranteed was 4 or 5 years, 240.
Yeah, something like that.
He already turned down 133 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
You think he'll accept 27 million more? He's looking.
Yeah, he got hurt again this year.
He's looking for, and that's probably why they haven't signed him. He keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, he keeps getting hurt.
He wants a Deshaun Watson style of a deal, fully guaranteed, 5 years.
Yeah, well, the way Deshaun Watson's played, I would say that the Cleveland's not that happy they gave him that big a deal.
And the Ravens executives are not happy that deal went through because that resets the QB market.
Right. Yeah, that's the Browns again. Their management, they don't know what they're doing.
Cleveland Clowns.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
So I'm nervous about this next game. We're gonna talk about it on Friday. We were gonna make our divisional picks, but I'm a little bit nervous for this team. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, very nervous for the Bengals going up against the Bills. I'm nervous for both teams. That once again, that's a game where, if the Bills, did their job against the Dolphins, put them away against a third string, I'd be like, okay, Bills are gonna win this game. If the Bengals, they're down their third offensive lineman in 3 weeks. If they went up against Baltimore and took care of business, they had 8.5-point favorites. If they won by 10 points, I was like, okay, they covered the spread and they may have looked great in doing it. Maybe they scored 40 points. Maybe they only gave up 6. Okay, I'll pick the Bengals over the Bills. Now I'm like, who the hell do I pick? I'm in limbo with this pick. So I'm nervous for actually both teams in this game. In this.
Well, last year in the playoffs, I picked against the Bengals every time, and I was wrong every time except the Super Bowl.
Right.
So it's tough for me. I picked the Bengals this time, and they won.
Right. Didn't look good
but
doing
I
it.
got to tell you, it's gonna be hard for me to pick them next week. I think because the Bills are at home and they're playing for DeMar, and I think that they will. We'll talk about it on Friday, but I'm leaning towards the Bills.
All right, let's get down to last night's game. I'm going to start with this one because there's a lot to say about this. Cowboys beat the Buccaneers 31-14. And let's get on my solo screen. What we witnessed last night, I'm going to say it here, was the subsequent end of the GOAT. The downfall and subsequent end of the greatest quarterback and potentially the greatest player of all time. Physically this year, his yards per attempt were 31st out of 33 qualified quarterbacks in the league. His yards per completion, 32nd out of 33 qualified quarterbacks in the league. He had his lowest QBR of his career, 52.5. Scale of 0 to 100, that's barely average, barely above average. His red zone percentage, 22nd. His third down percentage, 21st. His drives ending in a score, 25th. He averaged, I believe, 14 points less than he did last year. He averaged less points than the Bears. Quick trivia. Where's the Bears draft pick this year? It's first. They're picking first this year. The truth is, Tom Brady's physicality will never leave him because take a look at Michael Vick. He can still run 4.5, 4.6. Terrell Owens is still asking Jerry Jones if he can make a comeback in his middle-aged years. So the physical part of Tom Brady will still always be there. He can still sling the ball. We saw it in the Panthers game. We saw it on a deep pass to Julio Jones. Physically, he'll still be there. This year, we saw something that we've seen a little bit of over the past 2 years, but this year it is really come to fruition, and that's the mental part of football. Mentally, he's not there anymore. He's significantly more frustrated every single game, yelling at his teammates, getting angry. He's more paranoid in the pocket. 1, 2, balls in the dirt. We saw it in this game. He doesn't have what was amazing about Tom Brady was that he wasn't mobile, but in the pocket, he was like an ice skater, dancing around, pirouetting around defenders, and able to make the good throw. This year, it's backing up, side, going down, balls in the dirt. He's overthinking plays. Step to his left, in the dirt. Step to his right, overthrow. I believe it was the first throw of the game, completely overthrown. And this is a quarterback that has 35 playoff wins. I believe the same amount as the Cowboys in their franchise history. So mentally, Brady's not there anymore. Brady's at a point in his career where he can't take an Edelman, Amendola, a Malcolm Mitchell, a Deion Branch, a Jabbar Gaffney, a David Gibbons. Can't take these players that were wide receiver 2s, 3s on average on most teams, most great teams, most Super Bowl winning teams, and make them winners. Chris Hogan's another one of them. Danny Amendola. Can't take these guys who are wide receiver 2s and 3s and make them into Super Bowl champs and have them look really good when winning. He needs help. That's why at age 41 or 42, 43 actually, he went to the team who the previous year had the number 1 ranked receiver in Chris Godwin. He went to a team with a 6'5" Mike Evans, who is like his 5th highest touchdown catcher in Brady's career. He brought Gronk out of retirement. He went out, got AB. He went out, got Leonard Fournette, and won a Super Bowl in the process of it. Had the number 1 ranked O-line in 2020. Then, the next year, AB goes haywire, doesn't have him for the postseason. Gronk ended up retiring this year, but was still there last year. The offensive line gets hurt. Tristan Wirfs goes down. Is a shell of himself, I think, against the Rams in the playoff game. End up losing. Going to this year, Ryan Jensen gets hurt. He gets divorced. He loses 2 of his All-Pro and Pro Bowl linemen, Ali Marpet to retirement, and Alex Kappa went to the Bengals. He got divorced, like I said. And we saw it this year. Brady completely fell apart mentally. He just didn't have it anymore. Physically, I'm never going to argue Brady doesn't have it because that's just not true. Once again, Terrell Owens at age I think he's nearing 60. Still trying to get into the NFL again. Still trying to make a comeback. So, this is the thing with Brady. This was the end. This was the end. Brady said a while ago, 45 was the year he's going to end it. Then he changed it, or maybe it was originally when he can't lead a team to a championship anymore. Well, this game was all on Brady's shoulders. He threw it 66 times. And that's a feat at age 45 that's incredibly impressive. Still being able to sling it at age 45. He only had 35 completions, though, on 66 attempts. It's almost 50%. He didn't look good doing it. He tried to throw away a ball in the end zone and ended up throwing his first pick in the red zone as a Buccaneer. Yikes. And that was a very catchable ball. It didn't look like a throwaway. Even the announcers were saying, is that supposed to be a throwaway, or was he trying to find someone open? Nope. He said in the post-game conference that that was supposed to be a throwaway. And here's another thing. This was Tom Brady post-game.
I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort, and I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and you guys got a tough job, and I appreciate all that you guys do to cover us and everyone who watches and is a big fan of the sport. We're very grateful for everyone's support, and hopefully, I love this organization. It's a great place to be, and thank you everybody for welcoming me, all you regulars, and just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That does not look like someone who is A, staying on the Bucs, and B, sounds like he wants to play in the NFL. He already said he's going to take it day by day by day. And maybe Brady will take it day by day by day. But I think he might look back at this year, looking at film of this year, and be like, man, only 5 years ago I was able to make that throw. 2 years ago I was able to make that read. 10 years ago I would have been quicker. Mentally, Brady's not there. Physically, he can still throw the ball 60 yards in the air. But it's my little monologue. I just don't think Brady's there. And I've been saying this. We've been talking about Dolphins. Oh, the Dolphins. Oh, go back to the Patriots. Oh, the 49ers. Oh, the Raiders look like a great chance. And while we engage in the conversation, I'm going to bring you in now. I always said it was always about if he was actually going to play. I don't think he will. I'm going to bring you in. What was your reaction to the Cowboys' dominant win and the Bucs' ultimate collapse?
Well, I think I am impressed with your analysis. I think it's quite comprehensive, and you make some very good points. I do think that the Bucs were not the team this year that they've been the last 2 years. Their offensive line was much weaker than it's been, and there's a lot more pressure on Brady this year than there's ever been. which I think resulted in a lot of those throws into the dirt. And we know that the one way that you can beat a Tom Brady team is to put a lot of pressure on him. And that happened to him almost every game this year. So I think that had a lot to do with his some of those stats that you outlined there. He did have overall a pretty good season in terms of yardage and number of touchdowns and interception ratio, all that. I think he very serviceable. Most any team would want him. I think I'd still want him. So I don't think he's going to retire. I've said that repeatedly here when we've talked about it. I do think that he's best opportunity is either the Raiders or the Dolphins. I think the Raiders because of Josh McDaniel, and I think the Dolphins because of his family living in Florida. So we'll see what happens. And he didn't say much about what his plans are going to be.
He said good night's sleep. That's what he's going to focus on.
Yeah,
good night's sleep.
And I'm sure he's very disappointed they lost that game. The Cowboys' defense was too much for the Bucs' offense, and they had no running game. They haven't had a running game all year, and that's why he had the most attempts in the history of the game and the most completions in the history of the game this year, because he was the one player they had on offense, and they did have some decent wide receivers, so that's what they played. And they're going to fire Brian Leftwich.
Supposedly, reportedly.
They are their offensive coordinator, and I guess that says something about how they think about that offense.
Yeah. I will say this about this season. It was a season of a lot of firsts with Brady. At 45, he still has some firsts. He was finally able to beat the Saints in the regular season as a Buccaneer. Twice. Finally able to beat the Rams in the regular season. Finally as a Buccaneer. And you know what? There was some firsts on the bad side, too. First time losing to the Cowboys.
First time with a losing season.
First time, I think, losing to the Falcons. First time with the losing season. This was his worst record of his career. Worst record of his career.
Yeah.
And Brady was the player and couldn't lead this team to a victory. Brady needs here's the thing. Brady needs so much good receivers, and not even good receivers. Receivers that could just get separation. You need a phenomenal offensive line. And you need a solid running game just so Brady can do play action. Most, if not all...
That's what most teams need.
Here's the thing. If a team has that, right, they already have the quarterback figured out. When they have most, if not all of those things, they have the quarterback set. You know why? They're probably still in the playoffs right now. Or they were just on the brink of playoff contention. So he's looking at teams like the Jets need a quarterback. The Titans need a quarterback. Depending on what Aaron Rodgers decides, the Packers might need a quarterback. The Raiders might need a quarterback. Teams that have certain aspects of that, they just don't have the full package that Brady wants. Or actually, at this point, Brady needs. So, should he come back?
You don't think the Dolphins have what they need?
I think they're sticking with Tua.
I
think they're sticking with Tua.
I don't know. I mean, they have a decent running back, right? They have great wide receivers, right?
Yep.
They have a good defense. The defense is good. Look at the game they gave the Bills this weekend, right?
They gave up 34 points.
Yeah. Well, I think they've been decent this year. I think they have most of what Brady'd be looking for.
I just don't know.
Tyreek Hill
would be great, but
Jalen Waddle.
Hey, those are two great receivers.
Gronk out of retirement as a tight end.
I'm not gonna.
You might have a few questions about their head coach, man. That guy, he's having a hard time following the plays. That's for sure. He should have had that down. He should have known what he was doing there.
Yeah,
that was a mistake. So I would say that's the main reason I think the Raiders have the inside track to get him if he plays again next year, and I think he's probably going to.
I don't think it's a good idea. I really don't, because he gave up on the commitment last February. He announced his retirement, saying, "I will not make the commitment to football anymore." That was already in his mind, and most people who have already retired say, if you're thinking of retiring, you're already done.
Yeah.
And Brady, just he's going to sit back and think, am I really going to take 6 months of my life to put up a lot of yards and have a losing record? Do I want that again?
Yeah.
Do I want to go to a team and learn a brand new offense? I'm going to be 46 years old. Here's the crazy thing.
He wouldn't have to do that if he went to the Raiders.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's something that he may need to do with the Raiders. Football is a collision sport, not a contact sport. A step above that, a collision sport. Brady's too afraid to even get touched. How can you be good in a collision sport if you don't want to be hit? We saw that all this year.
He's a pretty tough guy. He's taken a lot of hits over the years.
And at 45, he can't take any hits. That's the thing. I said this. I tweeted this at the very beginning of the game when I saw Brady backpedal and throw right into the dirt. If these quarterbacks here, these quarterbacks in the playoffs, and even quarterbacks that have been great, when they need to win, they stay in the pocket, they step into their throws, they make the throw, and take the hit. Brady will not take any hits this season. And when he does, he complains about it, whines about it. And even then, he became a soccer player. He tried to slide tackle, I believe, off an interception. So, Brady mentally
So you
isn't
think he's
there.
done?
I think he's done.
Okay, well, he has a good job to go to if he wants to quit.
10 years, $375 for working as a Fox lead analyst. And I mean, I said this. I don't know when I said it this year, though. This was Brady's last year. Of course it would be. I think I said when Brady came back, this would probably be his last year. Because at this point, what team would want to sign him to a 1-year, 2-year deal? For him, like, you would need so many pieces. You need to maybe change your future plans to accommodate what Brady may bring you.
Yeah, well.
Because there's no team, like the Buccaneers were a great team and were just missing a quarterback. They had the wide receivers. They had an okay running game. They had a great rushing defense. A super young passing defense. A great O-line. They needed a guy who didn't turn the ball over 35 times. That's where Brady came in. I can't see a team that's just a quarterback away. I can't. The Raiders need a defense. That's one thing.
You don't think the Jets are a team that are just a quarterback away?
You need one more running back. You need to shore up the offensive line.
But they have the guy that got hurt. He'll be coming back.
You need another running. You need a running back too.
But that Robinson, they traded for him. He's a decent running back.
He did okay. He didn't do anything spectacular. You need one more running back. You need an upgraded offensive line, a healthier offensive line.
Well, they could do that in the draft.
And you need another tight end. You need some pieces on the offense.
Gronk will be the guy.
Gronk said he was already going to the Bills, supposedly. He talked to the Bills this offseason and was about to go there. He just didn't want to make the commitment. That's what he said. That's what he said. He was almost a Buffalo Bill.
I think if the opportunity to play in New York, maybe he'd come out. Opportunity to play for Josh McDaniel again with Brady, he might come out.
Right. I can't see it. I can't see it. All right, we're going to take a 30-second break here, but we will be back to wrap up the Harvey Hour and to celebrate our 1-year anniversary.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
Jumping right to the 2 screen. We're celebrating our 1-year anniversary of us doing the Harvey Hour together. We started this back. I think we started this is the wild card week, I believe. We were making our wild card pick. Or no, we were recapping the wild card just like we are today. 1 year ago. So I'm gonna ask you, what was your favorite memory of the past year of doing the Harvey Hour, or just in sports, maybe? Well, maybe it could be the show. Favorite memory from the show. And what do you hope for in the future?
I have 4 items, Nate.
Hit me with it.
Okay. The first one, being able to do the show with you.
Okay.
Right? It's really meant a lot to me. And, we've had some really good highlights in the show, had a lot of fun doing it. And also, the discussions we've had between the shows. It's a lot of fun. We talk a lot about the show afterwards and what we're going to do for the next show. And it's fun. I like that. That's my number one thing. Number 2, I'd say the Patriots analysis has been great. Almost every game we found something to discuss about the Patriots, and I think we had some pretty good insights on them. And and they're my team, so I appreciated that. And then one show that we did, and one thing that we did within one show that I always remember is the 5 things that we didn't expect to happen, right? And I said that the 49ers making the Super Bowl.
The Harvey hot takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember that one well, and that one thing that I came up with.
It may happen.
That may happen.
It may happen.
So that was one. And then looking to the future, I think continuous improvement. We try hard on that. I think we try to take some clips out of each of our shows and put them out there for others to listen to, and that's been fun and had some success. So that's a good thing. So continuous improvement, and then with the football season's going to be winding down here, if we can generate as much interest and some good clips with basketball and baseball. Now that the football season's ending, I think that would be a good thing too. So those are my 4 things.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll be honest. I was not expecting you to go through with that as well as you did, but you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Looking back on the last year, I'm gonna say probably the craziest moment we had was we were recording an episode, because we used to record this show I actually started this live. I still remember the true start of the Harvey Hour was a solo show I did back on the 14th of January, and I did a half-hour show, and I still remember about it was I think it may have been the 17th or the 16th, the day before. I said, "Hey, you want to be on the show with me?" I recorded. He said, "Yeah, sure." It was very, very. The setup was strange. The setup was weird, but we got it done, and something, I don't know what it was. It just clicked, and we've been doing for a year ever since. But like I said, we were recording a show once, and it was we didn't do this live. We started doing it live back. I believe June 10th was the first live show. Because you told me at the end of the recordings, how about we do a live one? So I said, screw it. I'll hopefully get it set up. And that's when the news broke that was our first time doing the show. We had breaking news. And that's when Tom Brady posted on his Twitter and Instagram that he was coming back, saying he still felt the fire to come back. So that was one of my favorite moments. But also, early on, I don't know what it was about those early on shows. The analysis that we had talking about each team and recapping each team, that was very, very fun to. I actually went back because I was debating whether or not to do a montage of those previous games or previous shows. I just didn't want to put in the effort to go through. We have well over 100 videos on this channel, well over. So it would have been very, very difficult to do it on a short notice, but it's been a lot of fun. And for the future, I agree with you. Getting the consistency down, keeping up the same tempo and energy, along with baseball and basketball when the football season ends, along with, hey, we're going to the offseason.
It's going to be hard to top the football season.
Of course it is, because football is the most popular sport in America.
Football is only 17 games in a season.
Right.
You lose one of them, it's like losing having a 10-game losing streak in baseball.
Yeah.
And baseball and basketball, they play them almost every day. Not so much basketball. Basketball's
every other day, depending on the team.
Yeah, but baseball is like an everyday thing, so it's harder to get the kind of excitement out of it, I think, that you get out of football. But I love baseball, and I'm looking forward to the season. I like some of the moves the Red Sox made, so I'm anxious to see how they do and get started, and look forward to spring training and see what that brings. And basketball season, the Celtics are having a great season so far. Jason Tatum looks like he could be the MVP. They're my team, so I'm looking forward to discussing that more when we get out of the playoffs in football.
Yeah.
We've still got a ways to go in football, and it's going to get more and more exciting, so I'm looking forward to that.
We've still got about a month left of football, so we have something planned for the Pro Bowl, which we'll get into in a few weeks here. We planned this. You actually came up with the idea, and I thought the Pro Bowl might be a good slot for it. Where I guess it's the Pro Bowl games now, but the future, just staying consistent with it, bringing the same energy here, which it's gonna be difficult doing a live show because let's be honest here, we follow football way more than we do basketball and baseball, so that requires me picking up the tempo myself. So that this requires a dedication from me, the same amount of dedication I put into football, put into basketball, and another challenge is because I work everything here. It's finding how to make it work. That's gonna be the big thing with us. Finding how to make it work, and I think we can. and I think we can. And just for the future, I guess, is keep the growth going, because the growth the past month has been absolutely tremendous, and that's all thanks to the viewers out there.
Yeah, we appreciate the support and your interest in our show. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. But for the last Tuesday of the Harvey Hour for the foreseeable future, this will be the last Tuesday we do.
Yeah, we're switching to the Monday.
Going Monday
format.
and Friday now. We will have a show on Friday, and then it won't be on Tuesday anymore. It'll be on Friday, same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Wild card picks, maybe throw basketball in there. But yeah.
Divisional picks.
Divisional picks, sorry, divisional picks. But we will see you then.
Bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch.
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.